Hi everybody! So today I'm going to show you how to make this little Pokeball, and I do have the EOS inside. So basically it's just the EOS covers, the little lip balm, and you're just going to put them inside. Fairly easy, fairly quick. Now these are the supplies that you're going to need to create this. Your white, red, black button of your choice, or I'm going to show you how to actually create this with the bands. So I'm going to get started, and I do hope you enjoy. I'm going to start off with the bottom part, so I'm going to be using the white color. I'm going to start with a magic ring of 5 stitches. So I'm going to be using the bottom part of my loom, and I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And now just pulling 5 bands through one at a time. So I'm just going to reach in with my hook, bring my first band through, the other end on my hook, and top loop over. Go back in, bring your second band through on your hook, and bring the top 2 loops over. Bring it to the side, and you're going to continue like that. Going in, bringing your band through, end on your hook, and top 2 loops over. Attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook, and you can remove off the loom. You want to make sure that you move these bands around, and you should have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. For round 2, we're going to increase on each stitch around. So you're adding 2 bands to each chain. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So you're doing an increase on each stitch. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So I'm going to go on my first chain, just going to bring 2 bands through one at a time. Back in that same chain to add the second band. And now the next chain with 2, all the way until you get to the stitch marker. You should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase to 15 stitches. So the pattern is 1 single crochet followed by an increase. 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times, so you'll get 15 stitches when you're done. So I'm just going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring 1 band through. Chain 2 with 2 bands, one at a time. So back in that same chain, and repeat 1, 2. Very simple and same pattern until you get to the stitch marker. Repeat 1, 2. Repeat. You can see I have 2 stitches left, and I have 2 sections left of my pattern. You should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase to 18 stitches. So I have 18 bands here. The pattern is going to be 4 single crochets followed by an increase. 4 single crochets followed by an increase. And you're going to repeat this 5 times. So on every 5th stitch, you're just adding 2 bands one at a time. So I'm going to go in my first 4 stitches with 1 band in each. Don't go where it's getting pulled. So I'm at my 5th chain. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 bands. Back in. And repeat. 4 single crochets followed by an increase. Again, you should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8, you're doing 18 single crochets. So each pile I have 18 bands. So at the end of each row, you should have 18 stitches. Our last row, I'm going to be changing to black. And you want to start off with a slip stitch when you change the color here. And your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. I'm going to do round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video, and you can complete the rest of the rounds. I will come back for round 8, just to start you off and end with you. So I'm going to do round 5, 18 single crochets, so 1 band in each chain around. Don't start where it's getting pulled. Go in your first chain and just bring a single band through and move on to your next stitch, all the way until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 18 stitches. You could remove your stitch marker or add a new one so you don't lose count. But you want to pause the video and come back to me when you've completed round 6 and 7. So I'm on round 8 now, and I'm going to change to black, doing 18 single crochets. I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. So I am going to bring my band through all of the loops that are on my hook. Grab the end and slide. And now you're just going to continue going around. Now, I have 18 bands here. You could use an extra band, which I'm going to do. So I'm going to use a total of 19 bands to do a complete round, just so it has a nice finish. You don't have to, because we are going to attach the back. By doing 4 single crochets, we're going to attach the top and the bottom. But I am just going to use an extra band. So when I get there, I will show you exactly what I mean. our last chain, you can do a slip knot now, or I'm just going to add an extra band. So you could do your slip knot now by bringing it through all of the loops. I am just going to catch my next chain over and do a slip knot. So I'm not going to go in my little slip knot that's on this piece. I'm going to go in the chain. And I'm just going to close this off, bringing it through all of the loops and slide, just so it has a nice finish. Again, you don't have to because it does get covered. I prefer to do this. So now we're going to make the other half. Now I'm switching to red color to make the other half here, and I'm going to start off with 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So basically it's the same pattern as the bottom half. So I'm just going to take my band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm just going to reach in and pull my 5 bands through one at a time. When you are doing this, try very hard not to pull this band when you bring it out. Top 2 loops over. And add your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. And you should have the 5 stitches. For round 2, we're going to increase on each chain around. So we're adding 2 bands to each chain. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So just go in your first chain and just bring 2 bands through one at a time. Back in. Now move on to your next chain and add 2 bands, and you're going to continue until you get to the stitch marker. Again, you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Every second stitch you're adding 2 bands. So at the end of round 3, you're going to have 15 stitches. You're just repeating the pattern 5 times. So my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, add 1 band. Your second chain, go in and add 2 bands one at a time. Back in. And just repeat 1, 2. So you should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, you're going to do 4 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. So every 5th chain, you're adding 2 bands, and at the end of round 4, you're going to have 18 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first 4 chains with 1 band in each, not where it's getting pulled. Just repeating this 3 times until you get to your stitch marker. This is my 5th chain, so I'm doing my increase, 2 bands, one at a time. And just repeat. I have 5 chains left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I have 5 sections left. So you should have 18 stitches. Remove your. For rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8, you're doing 18 single crochets. So adding 1 band to each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 18 bands, so you should finish with 18 stitches. I'm going to do round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to do round 6 and 7, and I'll be back for round 8, and you're going to start off with a slip stitch and end with a slip knot. Again, I'm going to use an extra band just to make it a complete round. That's up to you. So getting ready for round 5, you want to go in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and just bring 1 band through. The next chain with 1. Just a single crochet in each chain until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 18 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. You can pause the video, do rounds 6 and round 7, and come back to me when you're done. Now for round 8, we're going to change to the black color. I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. I'm going to do 18 single crochets. I'm going to add that extra band, so that'll be 19 bands, or you can do a slip knot with your last. You want to start not where it's getting pulled, but your first chain, and I'm going to change color, bringing my band through all the loops. Grab the end and side, and then just continue going around with 1 band in each chain. So either do your slip knot now, or go in your next chain, past your stitch marker, knot the little slip knot, and you can do a complete round. I'm going to bring my band through all the chains and tie it off. You want to remove the stitch marker, and you should have the 2 halves completed. Now I'm going to attach these 2 halves together, and I'm going to use 4 black bands. What I'm going to do is put my pieces together, and I'm going to grab on either side. I'm going to use the 2 stitches before the before the slip knot, and the 2 stitches right after. So what I'm going to do is go through my stitch. I'm skipping the one I'm going before the slip knot, and the same thing on the red here. I'm going to bring my band through both those halves, grab the end inside. Now going through both halves at that stitch right beside the slip knot on either side, and I'm just going to do a single crochet. Bring it through both of my halves on my hook. So you have the 3 loops and then side. We're going to do this 2 more times. So on the other side of the slip knot, both halves, bring your band through both those halves on your hook and side. Now the next stitch right above on either side, this is your last band, so you want to just tie it off. So go through all the loops, grab your end and side. Now these 3 little slip knots you can just hide by going through your little knots and bringing your band through. So you can just grab them and hide. You might have to go through 2. And the same thing with these 2. You can just go through your little knots. Now forget what's here for a second. What I'm going to do is attach this black band. And this black band is going to go over your button, or if you want to actually create one with bands. Let's just add this band first. And just to show you, it's just going to go around. You're going to find the center at the top half, and you're going to take a single band and just go through the black stitch. Take a single black band and do a slip knot. Don't pull too hard because you don't want to stretch that black band. Now I'm going to show you how to create the button with loom bands first, and if you do have an actual button, you can just fast forward this part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 stitches in the magic ring to create this. So I'm going to take my first band and just wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And bring 5 bands through one at a time. And 1 more. So you have the 5 bands that you brought through. Attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You want to move the bands around, and we're going to change color for round 2 of this button. I'm going to increase on every second stitch. So at the end of round 2, you're going to have 8 stitches. So I'm going to basically go single crochet, increase, and single crochet. I'm going to start off with a slip stitch by going in my first chain and bringing my band through all of the loops that are on my hook. I am going to close this off with an extra band in the next stitch over. So let's just take one step at a time. So my second stitch is my increase, back in, then a single crochet, then an increase, back in, and where your stitch marker is, you want to do a single crochet, and now I'm going to reach over to my next stitch that's past the stitch marker, not the slip knot, and I'm going to do a slip knot with an extra band here, bringing it through all the loops and tying it off. Now remove your stitch marker and you're going to use a black band. Remove the stitch marker, open it up, and you're going to see that this side's a nicer side, nicer finish. I'm at the back, and I'm going to grab a white stitch, one, on either side straight across, just one, and bring your band through. Both of those stitches, just on your hook so you have it even, and then slowly remove your hook. Now you're going to find the center half of your bottom part, the white part, and that single stitch. I'm going to go from the inside to the outside, grab one end, bring it through, but you want to hold on to the other end with your hand so it doesn't come apart. Now go to the stitch right on the other side, grab your end, bring it towards the inside. Now you're just going to tie this off with a single black band. This band you can hide. If you turn it inside out, you can hide it through your little knots that are inside of the ball part. You have to go through another one. The same thing with the top, the top one we need. Flatten out your button here. And this slip knot, you can do the same thing by hiding it by going underneath. Underneath and through those little knots. And just hide it like that. And then you're just taking this band and bringing it over the button where you can fill it. Next, I'm going to show how to actually use the button. So if you're using the button, all you're doing is just using a black band, and you want to thread this through your button. So you need a band through. So I'm putting a black band on my string, grabbing the two ends, and I'm going to go from the back towards the front of the button. So the back, up to the front, bring it halfway through, take your two ends, and go through the other hole on the other side. So now I'm going from the front towards the back. You want to bring that other half of that band through and find your center black stitch. I'm just going to go from the front here like this. Grab one end of the black. You want to support the other end, so you want to hold it down so you don't lose it. So I brought it through, and I'm going to grab that other half and slide. You're going to bring this band over the button now. And you can fill. And bring your band over. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to load, and I'll see you next time with another. Bye for now.